thought streams. Boundaries aren't emotional, they're nervous system decisions. Most people think boundaries are about saying no. They think boundaries are confrontational, cold, selfish, harsh, so they avoid them. They explain instead. They tolerate instead. They overextend and hope people will notice. But boundaries aren't about pushing people away, they're about protecting regulation. A boundary is what your nervous system sets when it knows what it can safely hold. That's why boundaries feel different at different stages of life. Early on, you don't know your limits, so you overpromise, you stay too long, you give too much, you override your body to keep the peace. And then resentment shows up, not because people are bad, but because your nervous system was ignored. Resentment is almost always a delayed boundary. Healthy boundaries aren't reactive, they're calm. They don't come from anger, they come from clarity. They sound simple, they feel steady, they don't need justification. That's how you know they're real. When the boundary comes from dysregulation, it's sharp. It needs to be defended, it needs to be explained. It comes with a story. When a boundary comes from regulation, it's quiet. It doesn't argue. It doesn't convince. It just is. This is why some people get upset. When you start holding clean boundaries, not because you're wrong, but because your nervous system is no longer available to stabilize theirs. And that's uncomfortable. Boundaries change dynamics. They reveal who was benefiting from your lack of limits. They also teach people how to treat you without a lecture. That's the part most people miss. Boundaries are information. They tell the world, this is where I stay regulated. This is where I don't. You don't owe anyone access that costs you stability. And here's the deeper truth. If a boundary feels cruel, it was probably set too late. When boundaries are timely, they're experienced as clarity. When they're delayed, they're experienced as rejection. That's not a character flaw, that's timing. So the work isn't becoming harsher, it's becoming more honest earlier, listening to your body sooner, respecting your energy faster, acting before resentment accumulates. Because when your nervous system is protected, you show up cleaner, kinder, calmer, more present. Boundaries don't reduce love, they make love sustainable. And the people who are meant to stay will adjust. Not because you force them, but because your steadiness sets the tone. Boundaries aren't emotional, they are nervous system decisions, thought streams.